Live from the Spill Studios located behind a liquor store off the I-35 interchange, it's time once again for a couple of cold ones with Corey and Carla.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Sitting back for a change, relaxed. I got this little table mic thing right here.
I see that.
Yeah,
You're like you've got that like Vato lean going on. Like
exactly.
If you raise your arm, you could be driving the car. Got your elbow back.
What's what we call here in the hood the gangster lean.
The gangster lean.
Yeah, I'm thinking about bringing out a line of bacon called that, the gangster lean. For OGs out there, bacon for gangsters.
Gangsta lean.
Gangsta lean.
Is this Let's Do This all of a sudden?
No, man.
We're going to have goats that eat their own milk?
No.
Gangsta lean.
Goats, he don't throw no milk. He eats it.
Gangsta lean is like sizzling in the hood.
Exactly. You remember sizzling?
Oh, dude, I love sizzling.
Do they still make that shit?
I'm pretty sure they do.
You know what? And y'all gonna hear this, but I was talking on the phone. Yeah, I was talking on Skype. I said Skype. I didn't say the phone. You probably missed a little bit of this audio, but I said I was talking on Skype, and he's like, "No, you talking on the phone."
No, you said you were talking on the phone. I said, no, you were talking on Skype. See, because the thing is, this was a classic Corey moment. I walk in, you're sitting in here, there's a hottie on Skype, you've got your webcam up, you've got your shirt off, there's a bottle of Vaseline right over here, and you finish up talking to the girl, I wave hi, I'm all polite, I don't say shit, you click it off, you look up and go, man, it's not what you think. It's not what it looks like.
No, it wasn't, and it wasn't what you thought.
It was such a classic. It's as if I'd walked in with you fucking a watermelon. You're just like, it's not what it looks like.
Hey, I'm not.
And you're like, man, it's hot in here. I'm like, yeah, where's the Jello? It's hot, and I was hungry.
I'm not going to even try to explain the situation, but I just tell you, it ain't what you're thinking.
But I was just like, dude, he's talking to some hottie on Skype, and he took his shirt off because it's hot in here. But apparently, that's not what I was thinking. Apparently, it was something else.
Well, you're close to that. You're close to that. But as far as, hey, man.
And there's Vaseline in arm's reach.
Nah, man. I told you that shit was for my tattoo. That's aloe vera, my friend.
Then why does it say Vaseline across it?
Because below that it says aloe vera.
Vaseline with aloe vera.
Vaseline is a brand. Aloe vera is what's in the bottle right there. You know,
I know aloe vera. Aloe vera is a plant. That is Vasa-fucking-lean.
That's nature's healing.
Nature's lubricant.
That's nature's healing lubricant right there. Let me see that. Hand that to me right there. I'm going to educate you on some things right here. It says Vaseline moisturizing daily body gel with 100% natural aloe vera, 100%.
So I guess that helps if you chafe. If you're like jerking off for like 3.5 hours, you can add the aloe at the same time.
I like the chafing. The chafing lets me know I'm alive.
That's right.
I don't need no aloe vera to jack off with. I use the calluses on my hand. And see, I love me that much. I don't even want to imagine there's anybody else. I want to know Corey's fucking Corey.
It's right? Not what I was thinking, clearly.
That's what I'm thinking, though.
I just love the fact that the first thing you say as soon as you're like, all right, bye, you click it off. And I was this close to joking around because you guys were like lingering, and it was kind of like, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up. And I was just like, all right, come on. And you hang up. And the second you hang up, you just look at me and go, man, it's not what you're thinking.
Well, because, I mean, let's face it, man. I know that for the image that's put out there on the site, that is what would you consider a classic Corey moment. I'm in here. The only thing was missing was a little glass of Cavassier in my hand or something.
Cavassier.
But like I said, I'm not going to explain it, but it is all those ingredients is not what you think. Yeah, everybody thinks I got this cute girl on the phone. She's on video chat.
Yeah, no, it's not the phone. She's fucking sitting there on her bed in her bedroom. On video chat.
And even then, I'm telling you,
she was cute.
No, she is, but it's not what you think. I mean, I get a hey, man. I'm not trying to set myself up for trouble out there or anything, but it ain't what you're thinking. I wish it was what you're thinking, but it ain't what you're thinking. So, hey, you know what? Ain't no use even trying to explain that. As somebody standing on the crime scene with a knife in the hand, blood stains on the other hand, over the dead body, and it's like, hey, you know what? Yeah.
At this point, I expect you to just look up and go, what? If I say shit, then you're like, man, it's not what you think. And before you just like, man, it's not what you think.
Well, because you had to look on your face like, oh, typical, and it's like, nah, it ain't that.
I just couldn't wait to see what your response, because I knew when I walked in, it's like, oh shit.
Because see, what happened was you came in here late. and I forgot that you look. I knew you were coming over, but I forgot that you were coming over. So I'm sitting up here working. I'm paying bills.
I don't even know what that means.
I'm paying bills right now. It was kind of hot in the room, and I'm at home, so I'm sitting up here. Yeah, I don't have my shirt on because I'm just kind of like I'm cooling out.
Shit, I'm like you were wearing pants.
Yeah, you are. You like I wasn't sitting up here fucking with this aloe vera juice over here.
Yeah, you and your Kermit puppet over here. Just.
You stuck your hands up in that Kermit puppet. Before I could say stop, you did it. I was like, what? No, you don't want to. Okay, it's too late.
Hey ho.
Yeah, no, me and Kermit done had some good times together. This is the
good times.
This is the house of freak, right? So anyway,
Dynamite.
Let's go on and get on with this shit. I'm ready for people to start talking shit. Corey, you know what you were doing. No, it ain't that. But anyway, man, let's get into the top 5. You want to do that?
Let's get into the top 5. Brought to you by Bill.
All right. Number 5.
I'm really pulling for this week because we really need to cleanse ourselves after last week's top 5, which we weren't able to do, thank God.
Oh, that's right. Because
you were out of town, man. You were partying down in SD town.
We had a good time. Now, when you say partying down, we had a chance to hang out. Now, look, I don't even like mentioning this stuff. We'll get into it.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, we already got into it. We'll get into it a little bit again.
But before that, let's get into number 5.
Yes. So refreshing. The number 5 is Aliens in the Attic. Brought in a disappointing $7.8 million.
Did I end up in that review, out of curiosity?
Man, it was so late, I didn't edit anything. I just popped up the review that co-host and I did because I was going to like redo it because we did 2 recordings and co-host was like, you know, I was tired. I want to do this over. But
yeah, he wanted to do it over again.
And you had to go, so I said, all right, you know,
you guys missed out on one of those rare opportunities that was just the 3 of us in the same room.
But you know what? I didn't mind so much because we did the collector together.
That is true.
And everybody said they liked that one, so I didn't care too much as long as we were all together in one of those reviews. But you weren't in that. And it didn't matter because nobody gave a shit about this movie.
So number 4.
Oh shit, man! Look at you.
Rock it out.
I've
had a weekend, brother.
Man, you know what? You used to be like the Tony Bennett of the top 5. Now you branching out into the rock and roll.
That's right.
The kids love the rock and roll.
I'll get back to Tony Bennett, but yeah, the kids are loving on the rock and roll stuff.
Number 4 is a movie that I can't even remember exists, like until I see it. I'm like, oh, that's a movie. That's right. The Ugly Truth.
They didn't screen that. I meant to go see that this week, and it slipped my mind. It's like every time I hear about it, it's like, oh yeah, no, it's playing at the theater down the block. I'm going to go see that this week. Totally forget about it. Yeah, no, it's
doing okay business. No, actually, it's doing good business. It's done $54.5 million so far. Brought in,
and I don't know anyone who's fucking seen it.
I do, and I haven't put the review up yet. Leon and Cyrus saw it.
Oh, did they?
And they did have a screening here for it. Yeah, I think you knew about it.
No, I didn't know about it.
It was on a Wednesday night or something.
No, had I known about it, I would have gone. What did they like it?
Or maybe we were. No. You know what? We were at another screening. That was showing on the same night as I can't remember, but we were somewhere else because that's the reason why we split it up that day. What movie did we see last week that was God damn it, we saw something and they were at that movie, so it doesn't matter.
Did they like it?
They said it was all right. No, they did not. They hated it.
Oh, okay. Well then. All right.
What am I talking about? I'll put up the review. I'll have to put up a lot of audio reviews to catch up on things, but they hated that movie. So, but apparently a lot of other people like it. It's doing all right business, which brings us to number 3.
A tree is just a tree, bringing us to number 3.
Dan, you had to have a good weekend.
I had a great weekend.
You about to have sex with that mic stand. I know.
Me and my mic stand.
Hey, would you like
gonna get all Steve Perry with the mic stand?
Hey man, that still is kind of rough on your dingling there. Would you like 100%?
I like the rubbing too, my man.
Would you like the Aloe Fresh moisturizing on that stand?
That's your Vaseline. Okay. So no, I ain't getting my dick anywhere near
all the aloe
your Vaseline.
I can get.
That's right. I saw that chick. Number 3. She's adorable.
Yeah, no.
Oh my! I wasn't gonna give you shit because it's like, well, shit. If there's one thing I can't knock, it's your taste in the ladies sometimes.
But no, man, it's a friend, man. I talked to a lot of people on Skype that just
can I get all Bismarcky about it?
No, don't. No, you cannot.
Oh, baby, you. You got what I need.
Man, where's the neighbor when we need them? Shut the
But
fuck
you
up.
say she's just a friend.
Shut up. Yes, I would.
And you
man.
say she's just a
Yeah,
friend.
man. Yes, I would. Yes, I would. Let me honestly tell you that. I mean, there are a lot of people who just catch me on Skype and the video comes up and I will talk to them.
It's like, shit.
Hey, when she came out, I was like, wow, you know. But that happens a lot. And actually, I've seen this girl before. We've talked before. It ain't a big deal. I've had like, look, I've almost gotten into trouble because like there's been a 14-year-old kid who popped up on the screen and was talking to me and
wasn't wearing any pants.
And wasn't wearing any pants. And I said, boy, before I could say, boy, put your pants on. The cops broke. No, it was like, no. What happened was the kid is talking to me and I'm about to get him off like in about 5 minutes.
Well,
yeah, I know.
I think that came out wrong.
Yes. No, it came out right. I said, kid, hey. No, I was about to like tell him you need to go. When I had to be somewhere. And then right when that happens, you hear he was from South America, and you hear his mom talking Portuguese in the background. And I don't know what she's saying, but I said, what did your mom say? Because I knew it was trouble. And she's like, if this person has a website that a lot of people go to, why is he spending time talking to a 14-year-old kid online? And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man. Yeah. You know what? Did you tell her you called me and I didn't call you and I was bad? You put on the fucking phone if you want me to.
Yeah, because you can speak Portuguese. Which it wasn't Portuguese.
And then when she gets on, I like got my pants down. I'm flinging my dingling in front of her. Hey, why am I using that word dingling tonight?
I don't know. I'm almost thinking you're going to break into a rousing verse of my dingling.
My dingling, yeah. Now you're playing with your own dingling. Just thought that was a funny word, but
so
I don't know.
What's number 3?
Number 3 is, speaking of 14-year-old kids, G-Force.
Thank God it's not number 1 anymore.
Well, actually, look, it's still doing good business.
I don't care.
And it's kind of tied up. It's very close this week between that and the number 2 movie, which is Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. Hold on, let me shut this bathroom door.
Shutting the bathroom door. Can I just say that I fucking hate G-Force? I was really disappointed that I wasn't in on that review with you guys, but man, do I fucking hate G-Force.
I see, and me and Cyrus thought like, it was all right. I didn't
really.
I didn't hate it. No, I didn't.
I fucking hated that movie.
I didn't hate it. I mean, look,
a fucking gerbil or a fucking guinea pig lights another guinea pig's fart to escape a holding cell.
It's bad, but I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. Like I said, maybe it was one of those movies I just didn't care enough. And there was some cool stuff in there. If I was a kid, I know would have liked it. But this movie's just not worth my time hating. That's one of those films.
And the number 2 movie is Harry Potter.
And the number 2 movie is Harry Potter. Let's see, G-Force is up to $66.5 million, and Harry Potter is up to $255.5 million.
Jillion dollars.
And that is better, so far, that is better than the last Harry Potter movie.
Right on. So I like the last Harry Potter a lot better, but hey, continue to do well, Harry Potter. But also keep in mind that there was a big price jack up this year in tickets.
Was there?
Yeah.
We never pay. I never noticed. And
God, it's like $9.50 a ticket now here.
You know something?
Which, for those of you that don't understand, that is a lot.
No, that is a fucking lot. That's
yeah,
too
LA,
much.
New York, it's a lot more. But fuck, dude, here in Texas,
and they don't even have matinees in New York.
No,
so I mean, maybe somewhere they do, but
this is it's an absurd price. But everyone always bitches about ticket prices every time they go up.
Man, $9 is way too much. For
I paid $19.50 the other night to go see I Love You, Beth Cooper.
Well, actually, let me see. I do pay for movies every now and then because we go to those midnight movies. But I think they're charging me like the college discount. Because I think they still think I'm in college, so they just don't say anything. So, I paid $12 because it's usually me and co-host that are going. And it is like too much to pay for a little fucking gold ball. So anyway, number 1. Funny people. Here's the deal with this movie. It brought in $23.4 million.
Excellent.
Now, if you go to certain articles online, you will see 2 different kinds of reports being done on this film, and they couldn't contrast each other better. One article says, "Funny People falls flat." Another article says, "Funny People leads the box office with a respectable 23 blah blah blah." And so I'm reading these 2 things, and the reason why people are saying Funny People falls flat is because they are comparing it to Adam Sandler's other comedies.
Yeah,
and it's like I'm looking at this and I'm saying, I don't know what's wrong, but this just doesn't seem like good reporting to me.
No. Well, no, here's what it is. Right now, there is an offshoot of a few critics who are slamming on Universal this year and saying that every single one of their films is a flop. Universal has underperformed a bit, but this summer, but only one of their films is truly getting close to only breaking even or being a bomb, is truly an underperforming film. And that, of course, is Land of the Lost.
Well, I mean, actually, yeah, Universal, they have had a series of movies that, for all appearances' sake, have underperformed in one way or another. Like Bruno, Public Enemies,
Drag Me to Hell. But the thing is but all those movies aside from Land of the Lost have actually done really well. They've just been disappointing box office wise when you compare them to other things. I mean, the fact is that Drag Me to Hell was only a $30 million movie.
Yeah,
and it's made what is it made right now? It's.
Well, I can go down and look. Let me see.
It's like $60-something million is what it's made so far.
Let me see. So far, it has made, I think, $40 million.
$40 million?
Yeah, $40 million. Which, okay. I mean, it's not bad. The movie cost $30 million to make.
Yeah, and that's just domestic. There's also the foreign take that goes in there. Then you've got Bruno, which costs nothing to fucking make.
Yeah.
And so everything they're making there is profit. And both of those are going to do really well on DVD. Land of the Lost may not. Land of the Lost is the one where it's kind of like, okay, nobody knew that was going to happen, but, it happened. But so you've got these people who are targeting. They want to be able to say that there's going to be a big shakeup at Universal, and they're pointing out every flaw at Universal. But for this kind of a movie, and on this weekend where it led the box office, it beat Harry Potter and G-Force.
Yeah, no, Harry Potter is the one that's doing well for them. Public Enemies underperformed. That movie's not going to really make any profit domestically. It'll have to go on the DVD to do that. Bruno, they just expected more from it, but it just dropped off. So that movie did make some money. Land of the Lost is probably the biggest stinker, and that is not doing well at all.
So here's my big question.
Yes?
Where did The Collector come in?
Collector came in at number 11.
With?
So it came in with $3.6 million.
Oh.
So it's the kind of movie coming in that low. I mean, yeah, the movie didn't cost that much to make, so it's going to do all right. But
it made more than its budget back opening weekend.
Barely. When with the advertisement, that's still not making a profit. But it'll if next week if it does okay, then they'll be all right. It's the kind of movie. You know what? This is what I think. It's the kind of movie where they're not going to be able to make the franchise they wanted from it, but they'll probably be able to release some more.
Well, that depends on how it does on DVD.
Well, if they release more on DVD, that's what I'm thinking. They'll probably release more sequels on DVD, but I don't think it's doing well enough to actually do like a theatrical.
We'll see. This is the thing is keep in mind that this is not one of the big boys, one of the big distributors. This is a small.
Freestyle.
This is Freestyle. This is a small distribution house, and if opening weekend it made its budget back and continues, and they make, it'll do well on DVD, or at least do halfway decent on DVD, enough to where they'll make back the money they spent and then some. If it's popular enough on DVD, that will warrant a sequel.
Yeah, no,
and we've had movies like that before that haven't done well. Hell, look at my favorite example is Bad Boys. Bad Boys only made $54 million. In its run in the box office. Mm-hmm. The sequel they spent $150 million on Bad Boys 2 because they knew that the popularity of it over the years built up to where they could spend that kind of money and make it back, and they did.
Also, the star power went up a little bit too.
Sure,
both Martin Lawrence and Will Smith gained popularity.
So we'll see what happens to The Collector. I am kind of sad that it didn't. I really wanted to see it make top 5.
It's a hard sell, man. I mean, because I know we had this discussion about it being torture porn or not, but every review that came out was it didn't do too well fairly with critics. It did not, and every one of the critics that were against it labeled it as torture porn.
Well, no, and in fact, in my earlier review, I even said that it's going to come out. In fact, when me and Marcus were watching it at the premiere here, I was pointing out, I'm like, okay, you see this scene where you lit it just like Saw? You're going to have critics that are going to call it Saw and are going to call it torture porn.
I mean, see, and I know you and I are going to disagree, and I think this is what actually hurt the movie. I think it is torture porn. I think it is just another variation of Saw. Not to say that it's not good, because I enjoyed the film, and I actually like those guys a lot. I will come clean and tell you honestly that this is a movie that if I hadn't met those guys, I probably would have rated it lower, not knowing them, but knowing the story behind the movie, knowing that these guys sincerely made a film and they didn't do it for any other reason but to make a good movie, and their intentions were great. I know what they're going through. And they have to sell the movie, so I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm behind them all the way on this. But I have to agree with the critics that said that it was these things that it was, and it was. And when the reviews came out, and when with what we saw on TV, I think that kind of hurt the movie a little bit. But as you stated, movie didn't cost that much to make.
No, it was a low budget movie, and I think he did an incredible job with the budget he had. And here's hoping that it sustains. Let's hope that word of mouth brings back, the same or greater business next week.
Yeah, who knows?
Because it could be one of those things where people go to work tomorrow and say, "Oh, dude, I checked out this movie this weekend. There weren't a lot of people there, but fuck, man, it was great. It's called The Collector. You got to go see it."
Well, there's
Let's hope.
The cool thing about it is that there's some word of mouth, some positive word of mouth behind it from actual sources that could help his business. Like Variety liked it. I think the Los Angeles Times gave it a good review. So I mean, it's not everybody's hating on the movie. But hey, you never know. And like you said, look, man, the movie's not suffering. It's a low budget film. That's the way you should do things sometimes. You ever want to get your money back, make a low budget fucking movie, man. That's how those Christian movies do it.
Low budget horror. I mean, low budget horror almost always makes it. Well, no, the low budget, the super low budget Christian movies do for the most part make their money back, but they have to be super low budget because they're not going to make real money.
Oh, no.
Like there was that whole big thing about the Fireman movie earlier this year, or was it whatever that Kirk Cameron fucking thing was. Fireproof.
Yeah.
But I mean, it made, in the scheme of things, it made no money, but it made money compared to the $500,000 budget it was on. And I've heard stories about crazy Kirk Cameron. Oh my God!
You can look at a video with Kirk Cameron and tell
no,
he's crazy,
but no, I've talked to people who have met him or were on the set of some of these films that he's making, and apparently he's one of those crazy Christians. I've heard weird stories, dude.
Well, you've seen the video of them talking about. Look, I haven't. This is not me actually. This is not me actually talking about Christians. Like I said, I'm not that kind of person. I don't want to go.
And I am a Christian,
and you are, yeah. But they made these videos where they're trying to convince people of creationism by peeling a banana, and the fact that these two guys cannot sit there and see how. And when I say gay, I'm not talking about gay people, but it looks like a gay joke. They're talking about how creationism is in the engineering of banana. And Kirk Cameron is sitting up there watching this Australian guy. I forgot his name, but he's another one. And he's watching them peel the banana and talk about how God was meant for it to be like this. And he just sticks the banana in his mouth and keeps going up and down with it. And nobody sat up there on the set, Kirk Cameron, no one sat up there and said, you know something? That's opened the floodgates for a lot of gay jokes right there. I mean, that's how crazy they are. They're blinded by this shit so much that they don't even see the humor in it. So, God bless Kirk Cameron, man. I actually heard that guy talk one time, and he said how he had all this shit going on. He didn't know who he was anymore, and he got into Christianity. And
now we don't know who the fuck
we don't know what the fuck is going on with him anymore. What's wrong with your head?
We used to get him, but now.
Which, hey, look, my whole problem with people like that is that I'm happy if it helps you find what you need.
Yeah.
But as far as going out and fucking with people about it, look, I got my thing, you got yours. Leave me the fuck alone.
Awesome.
Go choke on a banana.
Well, he's never fucked with me, so we're cool. Me and Kirk, we're cool.
Kirk bothers me every day, calling me on the phone. Hey, Corey, I want to tell you about Jesus. Hey, man, look, leave me alone.
Yeah, I've got a 14-year-old from South Africa on Skype.
I need to talk to him. I got a hot 14-year-old kid from South America. So anyway, where are we now? Is there something you want to talk about? You said after
there's a number of things I want to talk about.
Yeah,
it's an interesting week, and we're not going to have a hard time filling it this time.
Okay, then please, Maestro, tell me what's up.
Let's begin with the beginning. Just a quick thing. For those of you that like to listen to me sit around and pontificate for a while, tonight I will be on Slashfilmcast. That's Monday night, August 3rd, I think.
Yes.
We're
Monday, right? August 3rd, yes.
Monday, August 3rd, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, or 8 p.m. Central.
Is it Central? You sure?
Yeah, 8 p.m. Central. Right. Central time. That's where we are. And I guess that means it's 6 p.m. Pacific. I will be on with the Slash Filmcast guys at slashfilm.com, I believe is the address on that. And it's a Slash Filmcast. You can type in Slash Filmcast in your Google bar and you'll find it. And there's a chat room. We'll be hanging out. We'll be chilling for a couple of hours and talking all sorts of things.
Doing your thing.
We'll be debating funny people and talking about what we watched and just doing their interesting week. I really enjoyed it last time, and I'm looking forward to doing it again this time. So if you guys like listen to me, I'll be live and actually live instead of recorded live. And so we'll be doing that. Really looking forward to that. So that's my thing for today.
All right. Wait a minute. That was it? That's what was going to fill all the time right there?
No, God, that was that. No, after that, there's stuff.
All right. Well, good night, everybody.
I mean, there's, recapping San Diego Comic-Con, whatever you haven't talked about in other podcasts.
Man, I don't know. We had that whole let's do this dedicated to what we did. I mean, I don't know what more I can talk about. I don't want to bore people with it. You know what I mean?
Well, I didn't listen to it because I didn't want to be bored. So I don't know what you talked about.
Hey, man, everybody else loved it, man. I'll take this time to actually thank the people again who came out. I mean, there was a ton of people who showed up. We were just supposed to have a small get-together, probably like about, 9, 10 people. It ended up being over 30 people showing up to the aisle of the hallway restaurant, blah, 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 of the Marriott. So it was cool, man. I mean, look, I don't... you haven't lived life until you shared a room with Leon and Cyrus and watched them sleep in the same bed together.
You actually, God, you guys did that?
They did that.
Oh,
I told them, I'm getting this fucking bed by myself.
Oh, my God. I thought you guys got separate rooms.
Well, we were supposed to get separate rooms. They had us staying at this hotel called the Sumner Suites. And that was like a hike away from the convention center. And it was like, and plus they kind of, I don't want to get into it. You heard it in the last podcast, but there was a mix up with how it was going to be paid for and the name we had to get to people and everything. It wasn't terrible, but I said, you know what, this works out to our advantage because we love the Marriott. If you haven't been to San Diego before, the place to stay is right next door to the convention center. It's walking distance. It's a nice hotel. That's where all the celebrities are staying. If you're into that kind of thing, I mean, it's cool. That's where everybody in that hotel is at least going to see Stan Lee one time. I think Stanley just like a ghost just wanders the hall so everybody can see him because everybody in that fucking hotel sees him. But so I said, you know what, we're booking a hotel room at the Sumner Suites, and they were like, I'm at the Marriott, and Leon and Cyrus were like cool with that because we were carrying so much luggage around.
Oh,
but they had to share the bed together.
Oh, and that would have made you and me sharing a bed.
I tell you what,
that's not cool.
That we would have built a brick wall up in the middle of that fucking bed.
Yeah, one accidental mid-sleep sack tap, and it's over with. I mean,
you and I
shit is
getting
on.
arguments all the time, just being awake and looking at each other for an hour. I mean, no way we sleep in the same bed.
This week would be a couple of get your goddamn back of your hand off my nuts.
No, would have been one of those situations where I was like, hey man, just to make sure ain't no spooning going on. We're sleep. The heads are going to be at opposite ends of the bed. I'm sleeping at the foot, and you sleep at the head of the bed, or one way or the other.
That would have that would have been fun. It was like, no guys, I'm staying at the Sumner.
I would have
good night, everybody.
I would have gone out there and prostituted myself to stay with some old woman or something. Anything just to get the fuck away out of there. I would. You know what? One of us would have been sleeping on the floor. We've been taking turns sleeping on the floor.
So how much time did you guys spend standing in line? I've heard the complaint. One of my editors from another site, Laramie from Film.com, he tallied it up and he spent 11 hours waiting in line on that weekend.
I don't know. Cyrus got the hook up some kind of way because we all had press badges, but it was so crazy this year. So they just didn't. I mean, as far as press goes, now last year and the years before, last year was my first one. They actually had sections that they left off for press people to come in and VIP and whatnot. And I don't know why they didn't do it this year. So,
there was so many press that went this year that have never gone before. Like I was literally one of the only guys from almost every site I write for that didn't go. Like, me and co-host didn't go here. I was one of the only guys.
Film.com continue?
Film.com sent a couple guys, and Ain't It Cool sent almost everybody else. There were only like 2 or 3 of us from Ain't It Cool that didn't go. So I mean, quite literally, and I wasn't really gung ho to go, so I let everybody go from all the other sites. I didn't fight for it. Which is why when you were like, "Oh man, no, Leon totally hooked us up." I don't have one.
He hooked Cyrus up.
Yeah.
I was being sent.
Yeah,
to go,
and you were like, "We don't have one for you." I'm like, "Oh, all right, cool." So I was fine, and because I wasn't gung ho, nobody, bent over backwards to get me one. And from several of the people I've talked to, it was exactly what I was worried about. It's starting to become Sundance for geeks. Somebody referred to it as, I wrote that piece on the site. It's becoming Geek Dance.
Well, I mean, they can call it what they want to, but that shit is fun, though. It's still a lot of fun.
Oh, no. Sundance is still, not to malign Sundance, but there comes a point where you hit that saturation point where it's not what it used to be. It's something else, and it's a big trade show.
Well, no, I was about to say it's an entertainment trade show. It's not. It's not about comic books anymore.
No,
that's a big part of it still. But I mean, in a way, that's kind of cool about it too. I mean, you have your choice now of being stuck on just the comic book stuff, and really, everybody's going to see the movie stuff, so the comic book stuff is easy to get into.
Yeah.
And so if you want comic books, it's there. I mean, unless you're just somebody who's bitter about more people being there, you choose to be angry. But if the entertainment stuff is there, if you want it. Cyrus had some kind of way of getting in every day, and he sat in that room all day long, and he was the one that got the good deal. He got to see all the cool shit in Hall H, which is that famous hall.
Yeah.
For somebody like me, I couldn't do that because I teamed up with a guy from Hollywood.com named Thomas, and he was cool, and him and I had to trade off during the day because we got invited to so much shit to cover that we had to trade off on interviews and whatnot. So I spent my whole day I'm all shaken up about it. I had to sneeze. I spent my a good couple of days, all fucking day, just doing interviews. And having to because no one would, no matter who you were, no one would turn down an interview. In fact, not only turn down, but if you said you want to be somewhere and you got stuck somewhere else, they would say, "Well, we're going to switch the time up for you. Can you be there for that? Or you can't? Can you send somebody over here?"
That's the whole weekend's about.
Yeah, and I'll tell you the coolest thing.
Tell me the coolest thing.
Okay, since everybody has heard everything about Comic-Con, from me at least, and for all of us on the Let's Do This, I'll tell you something you can relate to here.
All right.
We've talked about that movie, Overnight, about Troy Duffy and Boondock Saints.
Yes.
So I went to go interview the cast of that, including Troy Duffy.
The cast of Overnight?
No, not
or
Overnight.
Boondock Saints 2?
Boondock Saints 2.
Awesome.
Sorry. Yeah. And let me tell you something, man. Those couldn't be the nicer guys. And that cast could not be more enthusiastic about working for somebody who was vilified in a documentary.
Well, Troy learned, I did an interview with him years ago that I still get emails and phone calls about because it was, it was one of the first times he kind of crawled out after, nobody was paying attention to Boondock Saints. It was one of those culty things. And I interviewed him for Ain't It Cool? And I still get email about it every so often. And Overnight came out, and of course I wrote up a piece on Overnight, and Overnight was a hatchet job. I mean, I talked to people who are friends with him and said, they all said, yeah, it's true. It happened that way. But when you actually know the story, you see the three major points where the documentary team diverged from the truth and kind of ignore what really happened or kind of twist things to make their documentary interesting. And the thing that really doesn't get brought up is that Troy was humbled by the whole experience and chilled the fuck out.
No, he admits that. I mean, like I said, and when I say vilified, that's an exaggeration on my part because he actually says, yeah, you know what, I was kind of like that, but at the same time, an editing job can actually make you look much worse than what it really was. And
well, that's what Omarosa always says.
Yeah, and you know something, he was the one that was being really cool about it. Now, the ones who were being who were really defending him were his stars. Now, who are the people in that movie? Sean Patrick Flannery, and Norman Reedus. Yeah, they were the ones who were saying that fucking guy who made that. I should set this up. Overnight is a documentary about the movie, about the director of Boondock Saints. This guy just got to deal with the Weinstein brothers, right?
Well, yeah, it was in the mid '90s. There was the big indie boom. Everyone was looking for the next Tarantino, and this bartender has this brilliant script called Boondock Saints, and the Weinsteins over at Miramax pick it up and pay him $500,000 for the script and to direct it, and they go and buy the bar he's working at to give to him as a gift. So he now owns the bar he was working at. He's got the dream deal all based off of the script, and he goes in to make the movie. And he decides, how cool would it be if I had my buddies make a documentary about the rise of me as I achieve stardom? And
which is, hey, if you ever if you're ever achieving stardom on your way to success, don't hire your friends to make a documentary about you.
No, especially if they're expecting to become big and famous with you and you don't. And the big famous underground story about that is a producer said, hey, why do you have a film crew following you around? His answer was, well, could you imagine what it would have been like if the Beatles had a film crew following them around in that first year? And the producer's like, look, you never mention this conversation again, and I'll never mention this conversation again. But apparently it got mentioned again, and so it's gone around. But yeah, so he was convinced that he was going to be the next Tarantino. He was going to be huge. He was in a band, and he was going to be the guy who was the rock star and the writer director at the same time. And he was just going to be huge in the next Spielberg. And then things didn't go that way.
If you watch the documentary overnight, it does come across. I mean, there's certain things, the camera's on him. He's performing for the camera. He's talking about how he's doing things that's never been done before. He's about to change the world. He's talking about stars he's just going to be hanging out with and shit. And it's like, it does come across as kind of cocky. I mean, so the guy definitely was. Yeah, no,
but
he was there.
The documentary leaves out one of the biggest, most important parts of the story, which is why Norman Reedus and Sean Patrick Flannery love the shit out of him, which is they sat down for their first major meeting about the film, and Harvey Weinstein and Bob Weinstein are sitting in the office with Duffy, and Duffy says, okay, I've got these two guys I really want to use, Sean Patrick Flannery and Norman Reedus. And they're like, no, actually, we're going to use these two guys who are up and coming right now.
Well, one was Brad Pitt or something.
Brad Pitt and Donnie Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And not Donnie Wahlberg, Mark Wahlberg. And he said, yeah, they're both really good guys. They're both great actors, but these are supposed to be brothers. We have to buy that they're two Irish brothers. First of all, neither of them look fucking Irish. And secondly, neither of them look like fucking brothers. No, I'm going to use these two guys. And Harvey Weinstein said, no, you don't understand. You are going to use Brad Pitt and Mark Wahlberg. And that's when Duffy said, I have it here in my contract that I get final say on who to cast. And
and that's when he stopped taking calls. And
as Duffy tells it, that's when Harvey Weinstein picked up the contract and said this contract and tore it in half. And from that point on, that's when he couldn't get them to return.
Yeah,
calls.
no, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's in the documentary too. He's looking. There's a scene where he's just staring at the camera because nobody's returning his calls.
And they put it in turnaround, and that's when he went and made it independently.
Although I'm sure there's a point where he's thinking in the back of his head, you know something. Brad Pitt, that's one I fucked up right there.
No. To this day, he even says that he went right, because the thing is when you see the film, it's a great fucking film.
No, these two guys are good in the movie, and I like the movie. You gave the movie to me. It took me a while to kind of, because I watched it. I still don't think it's like great, but I like it better than what I.
Well, it's
perfect on DVD.
It's an example film that I use. That and what was the film I'm always referring to with it, the Gun Fu movie with Christian Bale.
Oh man, I love that movie.
Yeah,
man.
no. But I'm trying to think of what it's called.
Man, and
everybody out there saying it's called this, asshole, and I'm blanking because it's the middle of the night,
and it's a one word. Here, I'll find
you look it up.
There.
God, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Anyhow, these are movies that are really great if you discover them. That when, the way I watched Boondock Saints is I literally pulled it off the wall at Blockbuster and said, hey, this looks cool. I'm going to take this home tonight and watch it. And I sat down with my roommate and watched it, and it blew our fucking minds. Like, how the fuck have I not heard of this film? Oh my God, this is so good.
Equilibrium
is the same way. Equilibrium is not a film that if it were advertised in a big way and sold as a blockbuster, that people would all walk out going, oh my God, what a great movie. It's one of those movies that your friend says, you need to check this movie out. And you watch it and you're like, how do I not know about
Equilibrium got screwed major because that was a movie that was actually screened to critics and
then pulled by Miramax.
And people were loving the movie. And we Leon and I were fortunate enough to see it at a screening, and we're like, we told,
you guys talked about it for months.
We told everybody this.
It was an early morning screening. I had skipped it. Kicked myself for months.
It was riding high. 2 years later, it's still riding high off of The Matrix.
Yeah.
And we said, man, you got to see this movie. You like The Matrix, you're gonna love this. And oh yeah, it's coming out. We saw a screening for it, and months later we were like,
it's not a perfect film, but it's a fun fucking film.
I like the movie a lot. But anyway, this movie, Boondock Saints, man. Anyway, they're making a sequel to it. They still don't know if it's going to come out on DVD or it's going to have limited theatrical release. But That cast is crazy about this guy. So you get the truth. You get to hear both sides of the story. I mean, which is something I always want to do. Now I'm sitting down with Troy Duffy, and he's been a real
you got
cool
to interview
guy.
Troy. Cool.
Yeah, no, he sat down with Bill Connolly, and they were really cool, man. And he's just sitting up there like making jokes about this guy's an asshole. Yeah, I never want to work that. I'm here because I'm working on my documentary about him being a fucking asshole to everybody. And Troy Duffy is just kind of like, I asked him the question. I said, look, you get asked this question all the time. I don't give a shit. Because I need to know for myself, because I saw overnight, give your side of the story. Because I still, no matter how much you talk about it, not everybody knows. And he was very modest. Either he was always like this and just went crazy for a little while, or he just kind of chilled out after looking at the documentary. And he was like, hey man, look, I did that kind of stuff.
He got advice when that came out to just ignore it. And he said that somebody told him, look, ignore it, don't respond. And that's what he decided to do. So he was silent and refused to do interviews while that film was out. And had he done what he's doing now, which is come out and go, yeah, I was a real asshole back then, and I learned a lot from that experience, and laughed about it, it would have completely defused the documentary.
And that's what he's doing now.
Yeah, now it's totally working. But back then,
and his actors, those two guys who play the leads, they were just kind of like, that guy on the set, that guy was making that documentary. Fuck that guy, man. That guy's a fucking asshole.
Well,
he wanted money when he came out here, and I knew there was something wrong with him. And you could do anything with a documentary. You can edit it any kind of way. But yeah, we're fucking sticking by Troy, man, no matter what. And I was like,
he fought for them and ended up losing his big, huge Miramax deal. I mean, that's the thing, is Troy could have done that and just said, all right, bent over, said, all right, made it with Brad Pitt, Mark Wahlberg, would have made a good film. Both of those guys are fucking great, but it may not have been the film he envisioned, and moved on to do other things. And he would probably be somebody who's steadily working in Hollywood right now, instead of just now getting around to a second film.
I have to say though, I like those guys a lot, that he's cast. And I think it worked out fine. I mean, I think they listened to him. If he had listened to Harvey Weinstein, he would have had a bigger film, would have had a bigger career.
Yep.
But he fought for those guys and they work. However, they don't look alike either. Those two guys, it would have been just
they
the
worked
same.
as brothers though.
I mean, I think he could have had the same performance from Brad Pitt and Mark Wahlberg. They're not bad. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I was like, maybe you should have listened. I mean, granted, these two guys, they lucked out. You fought for them. That's great. I think these guys will always go to hell for you if you ask them to. But I don't think it would have hurt to have Brad Pitt and Mark Wahlberg. I think that was a fuck up on his part right there. Again, not what you're thinking, man.
No, I know exactly what it is. Okay. What do you mean, not what I'm thinking? Okay. I see that he's got a stack of business cards here, and right on top is a woman dressed as Wonder Woman, and it's got her name, and it says model, costumer, actor. I know exactly what the fuck this is. This is, you get handed a shit ton of business cards at these things, actually, and you're polite, you throw it in.
Let me see. I'm gonna say this girl's name right now because she helped us out. Girl named Miracle. Okay, it's all right. I get it. When we asked her name, she said Miracle, and it's spelled Miracle here. Miracle Burns. She helped us out a lot with something that we were shooting at Comic-Con, and she was really busy. Stepped aside to help us out. Got her husband involved, so we got a nice little pornographic shot out of that. I mean, Comic-Con pornography. No, it actually wasn't. We got her husband to do some acting for us, and she did.
You got to see her Comic-Con.
Hey, he said it. I did not.
I should really cut down on that, or you're going to get banged on the wall.
Yeah, well, this girl's cool. Like I said, she hasn't done anything yet. The girl,
maybe she's getting laid.
Yeah, I hope so, because I was wrong with that last woman. That last woman was not attractive to me at all. But I said, I will go over there and fuck you just to leave me alone. And hey, and I did, and she agreed to move out. So hey, good end of story right there.
End
Great
of story. So how much time we got left?
We can move on to some email if you want to, unless you got something else you want to say.
There's one more thing to talk about.
What's that?
A certain real American hero.
What? Oh, G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe. This is crazy,
man.
Because this is real crazy. Okay, here's the deal. Here's what's going on. They are not showing G.I. Joe to critics. They are, and they aren't.
No, they're showing it to select critics.
They're showing it to select critics, but not to critical audiences. For example, there was a screening here this week here in town where only 2 specific critics were invited. Yeah. And they weren't, the thing is they weren't they weren't the type of critics that you'd normally expect to these things. It was very weird. They're selecting piecemeal across the board.
Man, what they are doing, I know you said that this is not the case, but I keep hearing this over and over again from different things around the country. They are selecting people that they feel will give positive word of mouth to the movie.
Except they're not. That's the thing, is the people they're choosing are not all across the board. They're not. I know a lot of the people who are getting these calls and are going in on this. I know a good half dozen people who've seen the movie now. And they're not the type of people that you call up and take money or give or quote whores.
Well, no. They weren't quote whores, and they're not people.
And
don't get it wrong. No, don't get me wrong here. I'm not accusing people of receiving any kind of payola or being chosen out to be given gifts and then go see the movie. It wasn't like that. What I mean is they're inviting people that they think genuinely will like the movie, or have been recommended because they think they will like the movie.
For the most part, I mean, the one person who really threw me for a loop was Devin Faraci over at Chud, and because he is such a he could have so much vitriol. I mean, he makes my harsh reviews look tame. He can be really scathing.
Angry, huh?
He can be absolutely scathing sometimes. He is that guy that I occasionally get emails or messages from people across the country saying, "Hey, do you know Devin Faraci?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I met and had a couple beers with him." Is he really like that in person? And you know, you have to talk to me. No, you know, in person he's a very amicable guy. He's great to talk to. Yeah, he'll throw out the snark and he'll throw elbows, but in the same way that I do. But he's a nice guy. I enjoy having a beer with him and talking with him, and he's a smart motherfucker. That guy's sharp. So, but he was exactly the type of guy I thought they were afraid of with this. But no, they had him come in, and the thing is universally, people I've talked to, had conversation with, not read their reviews, actually talked to them. They're all digging the movie.
Well, there's something very fishy going on here. This ain't adding up, and I really do think they're being selective. And to me, that's kind of wrong. It's like, well, no, look, I don't know. I mean, I can say it's wrong or whatever, but it's like they're doing it as a business move. They want positive word of mouth on this because they do want some quotables for it.
But they're terrified of what the average critic are going to say. They're really scared of what the newspapers and journals are going to.
Well,
say about the film.
Look, there's some people here that I can understand them saying this person is just not going to like the movie, but I don't think that they should actually exclude that person from going to see it, because look, nobody's going to stop seeing a movie because of what certain people say. You know, on the other hand, look, I keep hearing good things about the film.
Yeah, I'm dying to see it. I bought my ticket for a midnight show so that I'll have I'll at least have a written review up of it on Friday morning. I'm really looking forward to it. I've got we're going to do it at the Alamo. The Alamo Village is having a midnight show. A bunch of friends are coming. We're going to go. We're going to G.I. Joe it out, man. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
You know, I guess, well, are you going to record with us that night, or are you going straight home? Because that's what we're doing. We're recording for it that night.
God, I don't know. It's a 2-hour and 8-minute movie. And then, you know, it's a North screening. So what we're talking about recording, you know, by the time we get started, 3 a.m.
I guess that's me and co-host Midnight Movie Madness.
We'll see how I'm feeling. I mean,
know
if I'm
Cyrus will probably
up
show
and ready to go, then you know what we should probably do? We should record it over at Cyrus's pad. Which is
probably so.
Where it's you know, it's less than a mile away from the draft house. If we go straight there, that's fine, because then it's not, you know, the long drive across town to here. If you guys go to the village,
that might be a possibility. We work it out. But all I know is, I'm a little.
We'll talk about this later when everybody else
I just
is
feel
up to listen.
stupid sitting up here trying to fight to go see G.I. Joe. It's like something I would not go see. I hate being in a position of having to try to figure out where some dumbass movie's showing, try to talk to people to get into it, to the point where it seems like I'm begging to go see this movie. I don't give a shit about G.I. Joe. If it's good, it's good. And I'll say it is. But I don't know. It's just a pain in the ass, because we're in the business of content. And certain content people want to see that day when it comes out, trying to keep up with everybody else. And like I said, the studios, they can do whatever they want to, but I just feel like they're fucking with my means and our means of getting by.
Which is sad.
Yeah, but you know, some people like the audio. That's fine, and we'll put it up there, and people can listen to it. And I don't mind having something up. But like I said, I don't know. Let me put it this way: this business of doing movie reviews and going to see screenings and whatnot, it's becoming way more political than I would like. and it's
well,
becoming
but everything is changing, and I was just having a big kind of discussion with a friend yesterday about that, and he sent me a link today that got me all fired up, which we were actually specifically talking about, the journalists that decry the death of journalism because of the rise of the internet, and how journalism is dying, and integrity and the standards of reporting, and it's like, no, that's not actually dying.
Well, yes and no, it's not dying. Standards have gone down when you're on the internet because it's a Wild West environment now.
Well, no, I mean, the thing is that since anything goes, people have access to the things without standards. But the major sites, they all employ various standards. They all still have ethics, and
they do.
But the problem is that because there are the bad apples. You have these journalists who are saying that's how it all is. And at the same time, they're trying to pretend like this guy was writing for the Washington Post. He's trying to pretend that the New York Post doesn't exist, that there aren't rag papers out there that have scarce ethics, or that the New York Times haven't had their share of reporting problems, or that Washington Post themselves didn't pull their shenanigans with the election last year, where 4 days after the election, they wrote an article going, oh, well, people kept accusing us of bias, and we didn't think so, and we went down and did the math, and it turns out, oh, yeah, 3 times more positive things about Obama than McCain. We're sorry.
Well, no, I think people are fully aware of that. The problem that's going on right now is that, and it's changing, it's right, and it's all changing because mainly the internet has come into the scene. Now, what happens is, as far as journalism goes, I mean, even some of your bigger sites, I mean, I'm not talking about, I don't know about political sites and whatnot, but as far as writing on some of the sites I've seen, even some of your bigger sites, I mean, they can't tell the difference between editorializing and giving an opinion. I mean, all that is mixed together, so you got 2 tones that are mixed up, grammars everywhere, and all kind. Look, I'm not.
Well, this particular article was about the art of taking.
Well, keep in mind, I'm not a journalist Nazi. I didn't go to journalism school. I did work at the school newspaper enough to see where these differences come in, and yeah, I notice it, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, standards have gone down, but that's not the thing that I have a problem with. That's something that's continued to happen. Maybe we're coming up with a new form of writing. I don't know. We're evolving. Maybe my problem is that now on the internet. Instead of being responsible and really having people come up with some standards or having to prove themselves before anybody's given a pass to things, at least here in Texas, I know that a lot of people just say, you know what, I want to start a site. And then they'll put up a little flimsy website, and because of that, they'll get on press list. Now, being that this is happening, it's all becoming convoluted. I mean, there'll be certain days when we see people for a screening, we don't know where the fuck they came from. And you ask them, they're like, oh, I got, flimflam website.com. And I'm just like, see, this is what's going on. A lot of people are nervous because a lot of people who just come up out of nowhere can start writing for these reviews. And so the press is saying, you know what? These people who are coming up out of the blue, they're going to write about our movies no matter what. Let them have their website. Let them do whatever. But you know something? We don't really have to have that many screenings anymore if we really choose not to. They're going to go see it on a Friday and write about it later that day. They'll tweet about it because they'll see it at some other screening, at an employee screening or something. So that hurts people like us.
Well, but keep in mind that this was that site, 3 years ago, but we've just gotten the numbers up. Well, the thing that you're going to see is eventually there's going to be the whole proof of numbers thing where you're going to have to, I mean, it's kind of like with the Austin Film Critic Association. There was some grumbling because certain people weren't admitted. And the argument was, well, we cut it off at, you can't just say, I've put up a website, I'm a critic, let me into the Film Critic Association. We have to have some level of standards or else we're a joke. And because we set traffic standards, that we're well within. I mean, that's why there's, you either have to be print or you have to have a certain amount of readership. So, that's where it's headed, is it's going to be in that direction because we are becoming flooded. But the problem is certain studios are already dealing with that, like with where they send DVDs and such. And that's where the problems are with a lot of these startup sites with like hitfix.com and such, where they've got top tier talent. They've got guys who have been in the industry for 10, 20 years and really know their shit, but they don't have numbers yet. And they don't have the numbers to be able to sustain the type of, they don't have our numbers. They don't have the larger site numbers. So,
but here's the deal. It's like I don't mind those standards being set in place because I was well aware. I was just lucky that I was on the list of some press people already, or the marketing people, and so they were very supportive. If I had not had that,
we would have never gotten it.
I would not. I wouldn't care. I would have been like, you know what, we'll start a site and I'll go see these movies on a Friday or whatever until there's, and if things become popular, then I can understand them giving us a little more credibility. If it doesn't, then we weren't cut out to do this. And that's the way it should be handled. But right now, nobody's checking anyone. And I think that's going to change because I think that this is something that a lot of marketing people didn't see coming.
I know, the Fox got a new marketing company here in town, and they're asking us all to submit written copies. Like I've been meaning to submit, but they want, three of your most recent reviews and links to the various sites, and they're taking it serious, as they want to make sure they've got the right people on their list, which I think is cool. It's an interesting sign of the times. This particular piece that I was speaking about, though, is interesting in that as much as this guy is talking about the death of journalism and the big hoopla bullshit that all these print journalists are upset that they're losing their careers, which is understandable, but the way it is, it's the way they're whining on the way out, that, rather than, you should have embraced this 5-10 years ago rather than trying to jump in now when everything is bad. You wrung the last bit of juice out of print, and now you expect us to step aside and let you take over, or else you're going to accuse us of not having standards.
Yeah.
But this particular article,
right about that.
This particular article was interesting in that it was talking about something that I complain about a lot, which is the whole echo chamber concept of somebody gets a story, somebody gets a good scoop, and then another site goes and copies and pastes sections of it and then comments on that, and may or may not give a link, but most people don't click on the link because they've already gotten the meat of the story.
Yeah.
Here we've got an interview with such and such, and he drops the big bomb. We interviewed Gary Oldman, and he dropped a big bomb, and that big bomb is that they're going to start shooting Batman next year. And so nobody actually wants to read the 2,000 words of interview. They just want to hear about the Batman snippet. So when you copy and paste the Batman snippet in your story, nobody's going to go and click the link where somebody actually did the work and got the scoop. And so now you're riding off of the traffic of somebody else's work. And that's justifiable. There really does need to be a reinstatement of the pre-1976 copyright laws that protect writers from that, because you know what? When we do write content, sometimes it's kind of shitty to see that content spread out and somebody else doing, who literally does 15 minutes of work, reads the story, develops an opinion, copies and pastes. That's how most of these sites have run.
That's how. But there's nothing much you can do about that right now. And that's
they can. They can reinstate the old copyright laws.
Even then, is how far are you going to actually reinforce that with the law? I mean, are you going to keep suing every person that does it? I mean, right now we don't know how to handle this. And it's almost kind of like, it's almost impossible to do because so many people are doing it out there. I mean, so many sites, all that stuff, and then once it's out there, it spreads. So that's the other thing.
But once you start the suing, all of a sudden everybody kind of backs away.
I doubt that will happen too, because they tried to do that pirating is still going strong.
But piracy is totally different than copyright infringement.
Well, it's still stealing somebody's material, and they go out and say, we're going to scare people by going out and going after a 13-year-old girl, and people are like, we don't give a fuck.
But what you're talking about is the RIAA goes after 100 people out of the 100 million people that do it. So everybody, it's kind of like that justification that people get after they see a horror movie when they walk out and they're like, oh my God, I'm so scared, Freddy Krueger's going to get me in my sleep. And it's like your brain goes, no, you know what? There's so many people in the country. Why would he choose me? That whole stupid, it could never happen to me. That's how everybody feels about the piracy. They're like, it's never going to happen to me. Well, here's the thing
about the writing on the internet. It's like snippets go everywhere. Sometimes you can't even find the source of where it came from. I mean, that's the problem with that. There's so many things that you can't trace things to. Once it's out there, it's wildfire.
Except that now, with the power of these search engines, you can track this stuff by the minute, and you really can keep track of it, and you can find this. And the big problem, isn't the small sites that steal your stuff, or the Billy Joe Bob Jones that decides to put up a website and copies and pastes your story and puts it up. The problem is when it's the big sites. The problem is when a large site takes your story and gets all your traffic and then makes money off all those impressions.
Well, I mean, there's that. I mean, if you're just talking about the more money you make from something, the more
those sites are easier to keep.
You're going to grab yourself. But like I said,
and that's
where
where
about information spreading, you can't stop it.
No. But that's not
it's just the same way like where journalists are upset about. Hey, you know what? We're losing our jobs to people who can't write as good as us. I mean, they're right about that. They have a right to feel that way.
Well, except that it's not all people who don't write as good as them. In fact, it's a lot of times it's people who write a hell of a lot better. I dollars to donuts. This guy who wrote this thing for the New York Post, I can name a dozen film and entertainment guys who write online, and even newer guys that write online that are so much better than this guy was, who are so much more interesting to read. But but then there's another dozen guys who are so much worse. That's not who
they're coming up.
But that's not who you have to be concerned about.
The fault with all these journalists is that they just haven't. I mean, they didn't look ahead. I mean, I know how it is. You get comfortable in a job. I worked with people like this. You get comfortable in a job. You see it as, oh, this is my bread and butter. This
is what I'm going to be doing till I die.
Yeah, this is my family. I'm going to retire doing this. This is my home here. And it's like, no, it's not like that. In today's age, there was an article in Time magazine, speaking of which said, you know what, the new image of work is going to be. Sadly, it's going to be good and bad. The good thing is that you're going to have more control over what you do. You probably work at home. You probably make your schedule. You'll probably be able to like go out and do what you want to because you'll be in touch with the office all the time. It's going to be a more
European life. Yeah.
But at the same time, there's a price with that. The other price is that you're going to have to provide your own insurance.
You're not going to have you're not going to know your coworkers.
No, exactly.
Like I have coworkers that I've worked with for 3 years at film.com that I've never met.
Yeah, no.
That people I've interacted with online a little bit, but I've never met them. And
well, that's the other thing.
These are my coworkers.
They say companies
weird.
are going to be, and we're going through this now. Companies are going to be split up around the country. Some of your bigger companies, and you know what? You're not going to know who's who because everybody's going to be spread apart.
And it's which is also going to make it easy come firing time because there's not going to be that face to face because that's what we have to deal with when it comes layoff time. You don't have. It's not. Oh man, Bill got fired. It's writer number 437 lost his job. Well, at least it wasn't me.
Well, I've kind of seen that happen too. That'd be funny. You get a subject email. The subject says your body says fired. So yeah, that might happen. But yeah, I mean this whole thing with this new internet. I mean, I'm behind the internet 100%. I love the way it's going right now.
It's so much better than print.
But yes and no. I mean, I miss sometimes being able to have a magazine in my hand when I go to bed. Now I'm sitting up there with a laptop. But at the same time,
but get a Kindle. I shouldn't
have to do it. I like paper. There's some things about paper that I like, but you know what? I do like my laptop better. Yeah. I like my laptop better that I don't even want. Look,
well, the best way it can be.
Hold on. Let me finish.
Like your laptop better?
No, I do like my laptop better. I like it so much that I do not even want to get like a widescreen television because I like watching movies up close in my bed on my laptop, listen to it on stereo on my headphones. I mean, that's how much I like it. So.
I think the thing about print though, the best thing that I've seen was on the Daily Show recently, where they're at the New York Times and he points to the paper and he says, well, the internet's better. He's like, how's it better? It's not better. Print is better. It's like, show me one thing that happened today in that newspaper. And it was today's newspaper. And the guy goes, and then, no, it's all yesterday's news, but it's yesterday's news today.
No, that's
the internet is today's news today.
In fact, not only is today, but it's by the hour, by the minute.
I mean, like when Michael Jackson. I mean, we followed on Twitter minute by minute. Michael Jackson shut down Twitter because so many people were tweeting about him going unconscious, him being taken to the hospital, and him dying. We knew he was dead before it was officially announced.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and it was odd, minute by minute, and by the next morning when the newspapers were printing it, it was old news to most of us.
Yeah, look, the worst thing we got to worry about is that we don't go into a global long-term blackout. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm behind this 100%. Anything digital, I'm behind because look, first of all, yeah, I have the environmentalist inside me says, there's not a whole lot of waste. I see it right now. I don't even draw on paper that much anymore. I still carry my sketchbook around, but you know what I do? I have a program that lets me sketch like I'm doing on paper. And I've noticed already the stacks of paper that I have boxes and boxes of sketches. It's reduced to nothing almost because I'm drawing on my computer. So yeah, don't get me wrong. As much as I'm complaining about the internet encroaching on what we do, that's to be expected. And even then, you know what? like I said, it's evolving. We change the way this changes. It's not going to stop us doing what we do, but it is a pain in the ass. I'm not worried about the technology. Like I said, it's just the politics involved in it. And
it's gotten, things have gotten really political lately. I mean, that's one of the problems. I love this job. I hate where the business is going. I hate how cutthroat it's gotten. How people are I mean, every day we see spat fights between the websites and through Twitter of our colleagues just going at each other, just ripping into each other. And it was never like this before. When, even here in town, when have there ever been these kind of fights between
those? You know what? Those fights existed. They just existed in an office. You yell at
they weren't
another
public.
person's department.
Yeah, but it wasn't a public calling out of your rival.
I just hate this whole thing of like, this person can do this person can't, because we haven't figured it out yet. I just telling Jamie the other day, I said, man, you know what? I'm beginning to regret that I even got into this, because it's beginning to just be a pain in the ass. But then I thought about it, took a breath, and I was like, well, it doesn't mean that we got to stop. I can just sit down and figure out how to change with all of this. Content is content.
We got to roll.
And we'll do that. It just makes you be more creative. Hey, you want to get us some email?
Let's do an email real quick. I think we've gotten to an hour. I'm pretty sure
we have.
Yeah. So let's do an email.
You want to do just one?
Well, okay. We're past an hour.
Let's see. Hold on. Oh, let's see. I'm opening up an email right here, and I wonder if this is something we should read. It might be one of those really vague emails.
Vague email.
What's your favorite song? I don't know.
What's your favorite doo-doo-doo on the doo-doo-doo with the doo-doo-doo? At least it's not the hyper-specific.
Okay.
Because the hyper-specific are even worse.
Well, let's see here.
What's your favorite movie starring a dead singer that was filmed on all Tuesdays?
I
don't fucking know. There's like 3 of those.
Let's see here.
I can't name any of them.
It's called Fuck You the Musical. Let me see. We have an email from a guy called On the Outside.
On the Outside.
The name
looking in.
Let's see. Is there a movie you think got more hate than it should have gotten?
Oh, there's lots.
Well, there's lots. I mean, I guess if I thought of one recently, I can answer that real quick. Martians in the Attic, man. That's one movie that everybody hated. I said I thought it was all right for kids, but everybody hates the movie. I still don't see anything wrong with it, but that's one where I was way in the minority, and I still say, look, it didn't seem that bad to me. I
got to go, when you're talking real hate, Day the Earth Stood Still. I really do truly like that movie quite a bit, and people just walked into that. I mean, critics especially just walked into that hating it. It had 3 strikes against it going in. It was made by Fox. It was a remake of a classic film, and it starred Keanu Reeves in a famous role. People were, the same critics that dogged on it were dogging on it before it was made. Now, I'm not saying that all of them were, but I felt that film got a lot more hate than it deserved. I can understand people not liking the film, but as much vitriol as it got, it didn't deserve that.
Can I be honest with you? As one of those critics who did not like the movie, it wasn't because I came in with any hate.
No, I know you. And that's why I gave you that out there where I didn't paint all, because I know you didn't go in like that, because you just go in, a lot of times you just go in shrugging, going, well, we'll fucking see.
Because those are those people who say, what do you think about this fucking remake?
But you also didn't go off on a tirade like, holy fucking shit, that movie was fucking awful. Oh my fucking God, it was raping the corpse of a great fucking film. You were just man, I didn't like that fucking movie. And you've said that many times. It's one of those things where, but you don't hate on the film. It's one thing to dislike the film or strongly dislike a film, but to really hate on a film like that, I think was a little extreme, and I think it was a little knee jerk. And I can
see people doing that. I mean, you're right. Because I'll go into a movie thinking people hate remakes, and I can see why. I give you that. But I'll go into it saying, hey, look and see what the movie's going to be like when it's done. That's all. Be fair. So.
Yeah, and I know that there's many people in our audience who are right now screaming, "Say Wolverine! Wolverine! People shouldn't have hated Wolverine." No, we should have fucking hated Wolverine. I fucking hate Wolverine.
And even then, as a movie, I was like, "Hey, I came out. It's all right, whatever."
I fucking hate that.
I mean,
movie.
I guess I'm at the point where I've seen so many really shitty movies.
Yeah.
If it just doesn't make me mad, I'm just.
Oh no, and that movie didn't make me mad either. We were all just kind of like, it fucking sucks.
Let's see. What is Okay, we answered that. I'll get to one more here. We'll do
one more singular sensation. Every single email we take. You
got to do that part right there. You
got to. All right, the last email. Hit me.
All right. Was there ever a movie that you really liked, up until the point where they pulled something stupid that totally changed your opinion about the entire film. He said his biggest example is Eagle Eye. Didn't hate the movie, but I really was disappointed by that ending. I was like, that's dumb.
It wasn't the ending. I liked the twist a lot. I mean, I actually enjoyed the film.
I enjoyed the film up to that point too.
I thought it was fun. No, the one that really sticks out is
Country for Old Men.
Hot Tension.
I never saw that.
No, because No Country for Old Men, No Country for Old Men is another one, but I keep railing on that. Hot Tension is the one that so pisses me off because it's so fucking good. It's this really great French
the
horror film, and it's brutal and it's raw and it's got you on edge the whole fucking movie. It's so fucking good. And then you get to the twist and you're like, no fucking way. And it's a twist so bad it ruins the entire fucking film. So it pulls the rug out on you and goes, guess what's really going on? And you're like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And when you go back and work it through mentally, it's like, no, that means everything we watched was a lie, that we didn't actually see anything true. So what was the fucking point of showing us that film? Because if nothing we watched really happened and it was a weird alternate version that we're never going to see what really happened, we're supposed to imagine how it really went down. Fuck you. And that film just really angered me. Like No Country for Old Men made me angry. This film made me angry.
Yeah. I guess I could say No Country for Old Men because, I mean, everybody says it, but it really was a perfect movie for me up until that. Up until they did this thing where they had, like they say, had no ending to it. It didn't have the climax that that it promised to give us. So yeah, another movie that had a reveal, not really a twist, but I didn't like the reveal of it was Sleepy Hollow. Okay, Sleepy Hollow's been out for a while.
Yeah.
If it's a spoiler,
you know what?
for you,
Mirrors also ruined.
What did Mirror do?
Mirrors was really good and creepy. Again, another aha film. It was a really cool, creepy film until the demon comes out of the mirror and he starts wrestling around with this old lady demon, and that was just the silliest fucking thing.
It was just it was kind of. Oh, here's one. Well, these two movies are kind of the same. Mirrors and End of Days with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, the movies.
Wow, you're going way back.
Okay, the movie
that movie's terrible.
Well, we're having fun with the film. I'm thinking like you said, movies that we liked up until the end. We were laughing, but then it got to a point where we just said, "I cannot even laugh anymore. I can't hang with you." Is when Rod Steiger says, "This 1999 is coming. It's a sign of the beast because it's not 1999." It's 666 upside down or something. It's like, oh, come on, man, you forcing that shit right there.
6661, really?
No. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They just dropped the fucking one.
It's like
and turned it upside down.
Because don't you think the end of days should have been 999 then?
Yeah,
or maybe it could have happened in 666.
They didn't give a fuck.
Or 1666. Fuck you.
Yeah,
that movie sucked.
Sleepy Hollow. I loved the movie the way it looked. I was loving the film itself up until it got to a point where, if you know the real story of Ichabod Crane or the original story, it's left to the audience to decide whether or not the Headless Horseman really existed or not. And even then, they hint that okay, it didn't exist. They just want to chase Ichabod Crane out of town. And the Tim Burton film ended up being like a creature from hell, and I was like, you know what? I can't go there with this. Some people can, but I cannot. So that's one of them for me.
Well, there we go.
That's it.
So that was a great show.
It was very good. I like that.
Great cap to a great weekend.
A lot of good discussion there. A lot of good conversation.
Got a little heated at times. It was awesome.
You know what? We don't get heated though. We get mad. I think we come to the point where
I said got a little heated.
Where did it get heated? Really?
Oh yeah, we had some good back and forth. Not like angry at each other. Just it got a little. It was
when you say heated, I thought you meant like, hey,
got a little.
Guy was about to get it on right here. Like there was some sexual tension here.
Some sexual healing. Yeah, no. So you know what? On that note, good night, everybody.
Good night. Crotch was all red like a baboon and everything. Huh?
Just fucking push the button.